Hey, how's it going, and welcome to another video. Alright, so Shin Megami Tensei 5 is out, and alongside it came like $30 of day one DLC. I ended up buying almost all of it. The only stuff I didn't buy is the like DLC Mitamas stuff. Basically in SMT5, the Mitamas show up as like rare encounters on the map. And if you manage to beat them, you'll get like either a lot of experience or glory, or there's one Mitama who gives a lot of money. So they're like these little fun random encounters you might get every now and again. And getting that Mitama DLC basically makes it so that the rate of them showing up is increased. I didn't end up buying any of that because I'm very opposed to these games selling any kind of like free EXP or like money farming, like any stuff like that. You know, stuff like that has been in like, I'm pretty sure SMT4 had one, 4 Apocalypse had one, Nocturne HD had it. So this is by no means a new thing. I'm just really not a big fan of like spend money to get stronger kind of stuff. And ironically, it's not even like an efficient method of doing it because the way the Mitamas work is per battle, like their weakness is randomized. So even if you run into one, there's no guarantee that you're gonna be able to kill it because they're immune to everything else. So like, yeah, obviously throughout the course of a playthrough, like if you do have the Mitama DLC, you're going to encounter more, therefore you're going to kill more of them. But I'm just not crazy about that kind of stuff, especially because each Mitama, like, costs $3. It's not like it's a universal, like, buy it for $3 and all the Mitamas show up more. Dog, are you really gonna spend $10 to get a bunch of, like increased chances of those Mitamas showing up? I'm not. So yeah, I passed on the Mitama stuff. I would probably also advise you guys to do the same thing. If you already got the digital deluxe edition, then it is what it is. I just didn't want to spend money on that. So to talk about the actual demons, I found it kind of interesting that both of the DLC demons from 4 Apocalypse are back as DLC. Like Mephisto and Cleopatra were both DLC in 4 Apocalypse. So I guess they figured if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So one of the bigger things I think I was kind of let down by when it comes to the DLC for the demons is the lack of like a really entertaining, fun little story that comes with them. Because in like 4 and 4 Apocalypse, whenever you bought these DLC demons, they would come with their own little like stories and quests and stuff. And these demons do still have quests associated with them, but they like kind of suck. In 4 Apocalypse, Mephisto had his whole quest where you ended up having a fucking beach episode, and it was a lot of fun. And then in SMT4, you had, you know, the clipped wing stuff when it came to the Archangels. Like, I think selling the Archangels as DLC was pretty scummy in and of itself, but it at least came with this little story about how the Archangels kind of ended up in the situation they were in, like in 4. So these demons do come with tiny little quests, but they're really not very fun or memorable at all. So I think that was definitely a missed opportunity. Obviously, I don't think they needed to do another beach episode. How the fuck would that work in SMT5? That would have been fascinating to try and figure out, but yeah, the quest pretty much revolves around finding this doctor who like made a pact with Mephisto, and then you fight Mephisto. Another thing I should probably point out, you've probably noticed, is that I'm kind of overpowered for fighting these guys. I made my way through the entire game before the DLC was even available to buy, so usually the idea is you want to fight these guys at a pretty comparable level, but instead I kind of just killed them. I do plan on doing New Game Plus and fighting these guys at like the actual intended difficulty, but Mephisto is really good, and I think he's also pretty fun to have. He's a well-balanced, mixed, magical, and strength-based demon who has fucking completely ridiculous skill potential. Like, the dude starts with +7 for physical and fire, which is like ridiculous. And then he has +4 for all of the buffs. So yeah, Mephisto's cool. I think he's pretty fun to have around. I like a lot of his animations, but I think he's a demon I could probably like live without. Alright, who's trying to get their Cleopatracy 8? OMG me. Cleopatra, pretty similar to Mephisto. Like, I would say she has even less of a story going on than Mephisto does. The quest is basically, go deal with Cleopatra, and that's pretty much it. She's another pretty good demon. Her magic is really, really high. She is definitely like a full magical kind of demon, and her resistances are awesome. She resists all the like 4 prime elements, she drains light, and she's only weak to dark. She also has really, really good skill potential, like she has +5 ice and +5 wind, +6 light, +5 healing. Like, these DLC demons come with really, really, really good skill potential, which obviously makes them extremely strong right from the get-go. Her unique skill is Frolic, which, oh man, I can't can't show this in a Christian video game. Oh, that's pretty good. It charms all enemies and greatly lowers their attack and defense. Greatly lowering stuff being a very uncommon trait in SMT5. Like, almost everything just lowers stuff by one stage. So yeah, another pretty good demon. She'll definitely help out a lot in like the kind of mid to late game. And she's hot. Next up, we have Artemis, which is the first new demon on the roster and also the most expensive one at $4.99. Artemis is super, super cute. I really like her design a lot. By the way, do not look up what her old design looked like. SMT, Artemis original design. Do not research. Artemis probably has the most story out of them, but that's really not saying a whole lot. She basically wants you to beat up a Quetzalcoatl, and then once you do that, she fights you. Once again, I kind of stomped her really hard. Like, I'm really outside the caliber of these demons, like, level range. So the actual fight is probably a lot more fun if you're not insane like I am. Artemis is a very well-rounded demon with a focus on strength, and once again, very, very good resistances and skill potential. She starts out with a +5 in physical, which is like ridiculous for that point in the game, and comes with 3 unique attacks. Astral Saint Strike does 15 weak physical attacks to random foes, which is a lot. Head Crush is a medium physical attack, which inflicts confusion. And then Somersault is a weak physical attack, which lowers enemy defense by 2 ranks. So yeah, Artemis seems like a super solid kind of mid-game physical demon. Astral Saint Strike is going to be completely insane. Like, you combine that with Omagatoki Critical, that's going to do a lot of damage. So I think the question when it comes to these demons in particular, it really just has to do with like how much you like the demon, honestly. Because don't get me wrong, they're all really, really good. They have amazing unique abilities, really good resistances, skill potential is awesome. They are very, very solid demons. I think for them, the biggest problem is really just the fact that, you know, the structure of SMT makes it so that you always want newer and better demons. Like, Artemis is super cool, but are you really going to be using Artemis from level 37 when you get her to like level 80 when the game ends? Probably not. Obviously, if you're a maniac, you can do that, but after a while, you really start to see diminishing returns on these demons. Like, just Artemis alone is $5. You know, you can get Yakuza 0, that goes on sale for $5 all the time. And that game is fucking awesome. You'll get like dozens of hours of entertainment out of that. Whereas with Artemis, you'll probably get, you know, a couple hours worth of use out of her. So I guess my kind of final thoughts on those 3 demons is that, like, I'm glad to have them, but I could definitely live without them. You're really not missing out on a whole lot if you decide to just skip these guys. They're cool and fun to have, but I think your money might be spent better elsewhere. So whereas I think the 3 individual demons are kind of hit or miss, I think the return of the True Demon DLC is probably pretty worth it. I really, really like this DLC a lot. It is just a giant love letter to Nocturne. Like, I think they really, really killed it when it came to the presentation of this stuff. Just like, man, it really did make me feel like I was back in Nocturne hunting down the fiends. Because the setup is basically exactly the same. Like, you're given a menorah in this game. It was a candelabrum in Nocturne. And then you're just told, like, yeah, go find the fiends, dog. Like, the whole crew is here, and the way you fight them is pretty much exactly the same as how it was in Nocturne. Like, they're basically one-to-one recreations of how they appeared in Nocturne. You know, Matador starts off, he does the red capote immediately. I'm pretty sure they all have all of the same unique skills that they had. When you fight them, it plays a remix of, like, the Fiend battle music from Nocturne. All the Fiends are fully voice acted, which I thought was pretty cool. Just fighting these guys again was a lot of fun, even though I did kind of beat them all up really hard. Once again, I am planning on doing a regular playthrough where I fight these guys fairly. Just on this current playthrough I have, I'm kind of OP. And it's just awesome. Like, it's a lot of fun hunting down the fiends, fighting them, getting to use them is really cool. So I beat up all the fiends with relative, like, ease, and then I got to Demi-fiend, and that was one of the hypest moments of the whole game. Just seeing my 2 favorite mainline protagonists squaring up like that was fucking awesome. So I get into the fight, and I think, like, yeah, this isn't gonna be too bad. You know, the rest of the fiends weren't anything much. And then this happened. So, Demi-fiend is, without a doubt, the hardest fight in this game. I've done probably a good dozen attempts and have still not managed to beat him. It is basically a recreation of how you fight him in Digital Devil Saga. Like, he comes armed with, I'm pretty sure it's all of the same demons he was using. The damage output is insane. Like, This is by far the hardest fight in this entire game. This is a fucking Demi-fiend super boss. Like, I got my ass whooped so bad, I thought, all right, you know what? I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna gain like 10 levels and like roll up with all the best demons, and then you're fucked. And so I did exactly that, and I still have not been able to beat him. He is brutally difficult. So if you're looking for a real head scratcher of a fight, one that'll really make you stop and think like, bro, what? This is the fight for you? I am still trying to beat this guy. So far, all of the videos I've seen on YouTube of people beating him, like they're either on safety mode or easy. So he absolutely is the game's final challenge. And if you beat him, you get his essence, and the like resistances that he gives are immunity to everything. He nullifies all attacks. It's pretty cool. So that'll be your reward for beating him, is like basically invulnerability to everything except like Almighty. So this is definitely the one where you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. I do think it is kind of skeezy to sell the fiends like that, considering like I think this would have been a super cool thing to have as like a New Game Plus kind of feature. That would have been fucking awesome. Like you go into New Game Plus and suddenly the fucking fiends are on the map. But I would still say if you're going to get any of these, definitely consider getting the Demi-fiend and the Fiends DLC. It comes with the most amount of demons, the most amount of content, the most amount of fights, and like this definitely feels like the one they put the most effort into. So my overall review, the Demi-fiend DLC is pretty worth getting, and then the other three are pretty hit or miss. It really just depends on how much you like those demons. Overall, it's pretty mixed bag, but the Demi-fiend stuff was pretty fun. But yeah, that has been the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.